Okay, hello class. Okay, so in this lecture video I will be presenting an example on arrays. So mag-example ko unsaon siya pagcode. Now, what I will present here is not actually the runnable code. Di ko mag-code, bali murag pseudocode or murag algorithm na ako ihatag. Now, it is up to you if you want to run them on your own para napod mo experience sa on pagpadagan og array. Okay, so the problem is that write a program to copy the contents of one array into another in reverse order. So, unsay sample output kahaani? So, pwede nga, for example, ang inyong array 1, no? Isa man ka array. So, for example, your array 1 could be of any one. Man siya naging diri sa kataas nga array. So, tag 5 element. So, for example, kani siya nga array 1 natin 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 ka element. Now, what the problem wants us to do is to copy each element of this array into another array in reverse format. So, nata isa ka array diha also of size 5, pero ang iyang element is 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay? So, unsaon nato ni siya pagpadagan? Saan man ni ma'am? It is actually very simple. Kay igura man bali. So, let us assume na constant ang atong array. Let us assume na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ang sudod sa ato ang original na array. Okay? So, we have an array 1 here. Let us declare this array 1, 5 that has element 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? And then we have another array which has 5 elements. Now, um, since ibutang man nato unsay content ani ni array 1 no, array 2 in reverse order, so wala pa ta kabalo unsay sulod sa ato ang second na array. Okay. Siguro dili lang nato, sige ngani para mas medyo challenging. Dili constant ang ato ang first na array. User input siya. So we have here array 1, 5, and array 2, 5. So both of these are integer array, no? And then one array is the original array, and then the other array contains the reverse of the original array. Now, first thing to do is to input a value in your array 1. So, mag-declare ta diri og counter which is I. So, mayroon ta diha og 4. I is equals to 0. I less than our size. So, ang butang ta diha og int. Size equals 5. Okay, 5 man na itong mga size diha. So, I size I plus plus. Okay? Ah, inform din ta diri sa user printf input value for input ato na siyang gamayon input value for index I. Okay? So, na siya. Index. Okay, ato na lang siyang i-ano. Percent %d I. So, mura siya nga na. Then, scan F na day nato ang katong array I. So, isulod na to dire. No? So, muna din siya karon. So, taman ta sa size. So, basically, taman ta sa index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, taman ta index 4 og sulod og value. So, in this part here is the inputting of your value. Now, once this is done, no, nanatay sulod sa ato ang array 1. Nanay sulod atong array 1 here. Mo-proceed na ta sa katong problem na dapat si array 2 ang iyahang content is the reverse of this array 1. Now, we don't know the values at array 1 because this is This is user input man, di ba? So, atong buhaton is unsa man? What do you think we'll do? So, ang buhaton na to is actually very simple. Mag for loop gihapon ta. But instead of starting, maghimo tag isa da ka value variable na lang. So, int, maghimo tag isa ka variable. Ilain na to ang color. We have here int j. So, for j, rj now, will start at 4. Okay, sugod ta sa pinakalas na index. Pinakalas na value, tapos j must be, saman, greater than, okay? J must be greater than or equal to 0. J minus minus, patras ta. Okay? Now, Ri, let us redeclare our I here. Balik ta sa I is equals to 0. So, basically, natay duha ka counter. Ang isa ka counter nag-start sa 0. Ang isa ka counter nag-start sa 4. Okay? Now, what we will do is we will put the values. Sundan na to ang value ni array 2. So, array 2, no? Sa iyahang index j, mabutang ang value ni array 1 sa index I. Okay? Now, after this line, ako rin explain, after this line, since ang ato ang I is represents an index and then it is in a for loop, dapat atong I will increment, diba? Dapat mo change yung value. So, we will add another incrementing value there. So, ma-increment ang atong I sa kada tuyok ni for loop. So, what happened in this for loop is di lang isa ka variable ang nag-increment o nag-decrement sa kada loop. Duha, si J o si I. But si J ang priority ni for loop kaya naman siya sulod diri but basically parehara ni sila. Tapos si I ang nasa sulod sa body ni for loop. But parehara man ni siya mo execute pa niya sa kada tuyok so mo-increment kini siya. So what happened in this line kani man ang crucial na line here unsa may nahitabuan na. Ang nahitabuan na is kung atong analyze so ang ato ang j is nag-start sa 4. So in this first execution diri ang nahitabo is si R2 at index 4 is equals to ang atong I is 0, di ba? R1 at index 1 ay 0. So, unsay naa kang R1 index 0 it is 5. So, this is 5. So, sa ato pa si R4 is equals to 5. Now, RJ is, now after this line, our I will increment. So, after that line, ang ato ang I will now be equal to 1. Diba? Kaya mo increment naman eh. And then we'll return here at J minus minus. Our J will decrement. So, mahimo ni siya og 3 here. Okay? So, musulod na dahil na punta dire. Since rj is still greater than and equal or equal to 0, this is true. So, musulod siya diri So, what happens is ang ato ang r2, since ang ato ang j is now equals to 3. And then, ang atong r1 is equals to 1. So, what is in our index 1 sa atong array 1? It is, for example, 2 ang input sa user. So, 2. Okay? Now, this will increment again. So, our I will become 2. And this will increment si j. So, this will become 2. Diba? Now, 2 is still less than or greater than or equal to 0. So, ma-execute gihapon nga line. So, we will have here array 2 at index 2 will be equal to array 1 at index 2, which is 3. Diba? Now, it will continue again. Increment na po dato ang I. Mahimo ni siya og 3, and ang atong j will become 1. So our next is array 2 at j equals index 1 is equals to array 1 at index 3. So what is our index 3? It is 4. Okay? Hangtod sa ni-decrement na pud si I, mahimo na ni siya og 0. And ni-increment si I, nahimo na ni siya og 4. And ang atong j is equals to 0. Now, 0 is still greater than or equal to 0. This is still true. So, this will hold true gihapon, ma-execute gihapon na siya. So, since our j is equals to 0, 0 ni. R1, 4, this is equals to, so may nasa itong R1 at index 4. It is 5. Diba? Ay, sipit. Ay, ko diri. This is, sorry. Hindi siya maano. So, array. Ah! Okay. Di lang class ha. Mag-close siya. Kay naman ko'y bug. Ang katunga, 37. Ano ta ato class? Ato dimension. Nawala. Okay, so I think ano lang tingali ninyo, i-rewind ang video, no? I-rewind lang to ninyo unsay nahitabo ato nga quote. But basically, the important lines there are katong for loop, no? J is equals to 4, J less than equal to 0, and J minus minus. And then outside here, we have our I that is pre-declared into 0. And here in this one, si R2 at J is equals to R1 at index I. And then Ri will increment and ano siya. Now, if you want to run the entire code, pwede mo magpa-run. Try it yourself para naging may experience kung saan pagpa-run sa array. So that is all for the examples in array. So the next topic we'll be talking about is a two-dimensional array. This topic will not be that long because basically this topic is a little complicated, but I will try to discuss them as much as I could. So that will be all for this lecture video. If you have any questions or example, please do contact me. Pasensya ka ganina because I was trying to control Z, but what happened is that since naka-attach man ang ako ang drawing pad, I think lahi nga control ang na-trigger which na-close ang ako ang PowerPoint, and since wa mo siya na-save, so mo to na-erase tanan akong gisulat ato nga slide. Basically, pwede ra to ninyo i-rewind. Okay, so thank you all and see you on the next lecture video.